Hey, free-to-play gang! Welcome back to another video. So I have posted this earlier, just about 2 hours ago. Anyway, so they have suddenly posted this on their Twitter, which is in our current version. One of the key issues we received a lot of feedback on was players drawing duplicate espers that did not add to their value in their game and all that, right? So drawing an esper, additional esper, only gives you 6% base stats. So it's not 6% total stats, which is a much bigger difference. But obviously a lot of you guys have already seen everything, but if you want to know a little bit more about my opinion on what's happening over here, then stay tuned for the rest of the video. So let's move on to the actual update notice itself. It's not really an update notice, but it's an overview of optimizations for future updates. So this is quite interesting, right? So dear Espers, since the last version update, we have received feedback and suggestions from players across all platforms and channels. We acknowledge that there were some inadequacies when considering our adjustments to the game, and in order to enhance the gaming experience for every player, we have been working hard to find a solution that balances the demands of multiple parties. However, to be honest, some issues cannot be solved overnight, I agree. For the content of future updates, we would like to communicate with you openly and honestly, and this is something that's very important to me. Now, we will collect your suggestions and feedback and optimize and solve issues that players are concerned about in subsequent phases. So this is what they're trying to get at is they're going to have more of those roadmaps along the way. And I think that's super important and that's very crucial for the player base as a whole, not just for the content creators, right? Because everyone needs to know where the game is headed. Now, in our current version, one of the key issues we received a lot of feedback was drawing of duplicates that did not add to the power of their overall team. Therefore, we have decided to address this issue as one of our top priorities in the coming update. So we do not know whether would this be happening in the coming update or subsequent updates, right? But we can only hope. So actually, I already had a video planned for tomorrow. Actually, I already have it uploaded and it's just pending tomorrow for it to be released to you guys. And it's talking a little bit more about the summon system as well. So this was entirely by chance. Now, our plan includes adjusting the resonance system and moving a part of resonance points bonuses to a new resonance talent branch system. Okay, so we don't really know everything about it, but we know that there is going to be a talent system over here. So there will be 3 branches of resonant talents: attack, HP, and defense. And when a player allocates a certain number of resonance points to a certain branch, they can then acquire a resonance talent on that branch and receive additional combat buffs. For example, in the attack branch, blah 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 blah. And our current design plan is in the figure below, and it's not final yet, okay? So do take note that this is not final yet. We hope that the new talent system will solve issues where players are currently experiencing, and it is our hope that players have a better gaming experience and are able to develop various strategies to advance their esper. So with this is going to be huge in terms of just esper reviews and all that, because it's no longer going to be the cookie cutter way of just build attack, crit damage, speed, or whatever, right? Now there's going to be a lot of nitty-gritty details that's going to be added into this system as well. So let's understand a little bit more about what they are trying to introduce over here, right? So the system is under development for reference only. So I'm not going to go through every single one of them. You can go ahead, pause the video, take a look at this for yourself. But I'm just going to talk about the main ones that I think appeal a lot to me. So this is the first one that really caught my attention, right? Preemptive attack. So when using your ability for the first time in each battle, damage dealt plus 6%. This is pretty cool. And now this, Deathly Cinders. When an ally dies, crit damage plus 8%. This is extremely good for Hyde. And also really good for Cecilia teams, by the way. I think this is pretty good. And this is also pretty interesting, Berserker Draw. If HP is below 50%, lifesteal amount increases by 8%. So this can be quite essential for some espers like Zora, for example, right? And then now moving on to the HP over here. Now, Protective Shield, when granting a shield strength plus 8%. I'm not sure whether is it 8% of whatever your shield strength was. If that's the case, it's actually quite garbage. But if it's something a little bit more decent, then it could be really good for Laura. Now, this one though, Hasty Action, if a skill is on cooldown, your speed increases by 10. This is huge. This is extremely huge. For espers like Unas, for espers like Dahlia, or even espers like Gabrielle, you're going to throw your skills so early on in the fight that you're going to gain such a huge speed advantage so early on, right? This is going to be huge. 10 speed is a big deal, right? Now this one can be quite interesting, the Law of Conjunction. When granting a buff, each buff restores 1% of max HP to the esper that you buffed, up to 3% max HP per turn, which I assume corresponds to having 3 buffs on your ally at once. Now, Life Power, this is pretty sick, especially for some espers like Chloe and Hyde. So upon dispelling or stealing a buff, that buff inflicts max HP minus 3% to the target up to minus 15% per turn. And I assume this is if you extract all 5 buffs at once. So obviously I think this is more catered towards Chloe, for example, right? Now moving on to the defense portion, it doesn't seem to be that impactful in my opinion. There's gonna be a few that is a little bit more effective, but apart from that, not such a big deal. I don't think the defense tree is gonna be a place that is so important. I do feel like the HP and attack are incredibly strong. So there will be some cases where your DPS Esper may not need to have the attack tree. He may actually excel better in the HP tree, for example, because there are some of these stuff over here that's really good. So like for example, like I mentioned, Chloe and Hyde, this could work very well for you. And maybe Hasty Action, this can be really good for Zora or Gaius, for example. And a lot of different things, right? But of course, nothing here is permanent and it is for reference only. So we also plan to add more methods to achieve resonance in upcoming updates so that players can use the new resonance system a little bit more frequently and design their ideal Esper squad. So for Espers already acquired by players, we will add new events in upcoming updates in which players can complete event tasks in order to increase the resonance level of these Espers. In addition, a new system will be launched as soon as possible. Okay, so the keyword here is as soon as possible, to provide players with a free way to acquire more copies of Espers that are already on their squad. So this is pretty interesting. I'm actually very curious on how they are going to change up the dupe system. So when you're summoning, you're going to get dupes. What are they going to do about it if they're going to make like duping so much easier in terms of event payout, right? Now for new Espers that will be released in the future, we will continue to increase the number of super sound matrices that can be obtained so that players can get their hands on these Espers a little bit more easily. And this is going to pertain to the content that I have uploaded for tomorrow's video. So we are aware that the current solution may not meet the expectation of every single player. However, we will continue to collect player feedback and your suggestions to further improve and optimize the gaming experience for everyone. In the near future, we will reveal a developer roadmap. This is the one that I'm very interested in for all major updates of Dislyte over the next 6 months. But this also lets me know that they actually have things planned out for 6 entire months. That is insane, dude. It's quite crazy to think that they already know what they want to release 6 months down the road. So basically, this is the reason why it is so hard for us to feel like we are hurt, because they have already planned so many things down the road. And if you're going to change something, if you're going to change a specific system right now, that's going to affect everything down the road, right? That's going to affect a lot of things that they have already planned for. So this is part of the reason why sometimes it seems like they're not listening, but in actual fact, it's very hard for them to accommodate our interests when they have something else planned along the way. So finally, we would like to thank you again for your continuous support of Dislyte, blah blah blah. Okay, so this is absolutely a good news. I think this is a plus. I'm just not very sure how they're going to handle the dupe system, how they're going to handle the fact that when we draw an extra Esper, we do not actually need it anymore. So for example, I have a whole bunch of epic Espers that are just spam material, right? So if I do pull for a certain Esper, like maybe a Joser, he's immediately going to become a 4-star fodder for me. There is really no reason why I need an extra copy of him. I have seen some people use spare Dahlias to try to like juke people and all that kind of stuff. But apart from these strategies, I don't think there's any reason why you want to have an extra Longmi and you want to have extra Joser or something like that. So I'm really curious to know what they're going to do about this system, and I really hope that they somehow use it to improve on the disassembly feature, right? So the one that I'm talking about is the feature where you can disassemble Espers to get certain currency that you can use to buy stuff in the shop. I hope they expand on that, because that is actually a great way to start. It's just that the execution was not very good. The execution is terrible. So that's it for this video. I didn't want to drag it on for as long as it is. Leave your comments down below and let me know how you feel about this overview of optimizations for future updates, and what are the things that you're going to be looking out for, and what are your opinions about everything as well. So let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, this has been Dairy Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.